I know it's been like a super long time, but I've been having some scheduling issues. My honey and I have not been keeping the same schedule. As you know, we're kind of nocturnal and we keep weird schedules, and that's kind of how it goes. So it's been hard to get around to recording these videos for you. And check me out, I have new glasses now, so I can actually wear them during my videos because there won't be any annoying glare on my eyes, or at least hopefully a minimum amount, so I can actually see what I'm doing now, which is pretty cool. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you. I've had this at the top of my list for like a really, really long time. I wanted to talk to you guys today about what happens when your magic seems to make things worse, because that happens kind of a lot. And a lot of people feel like they've failed, like their magic has gone wrong, or they're being punished for something, or something has just gone horribly, horribly wrong, and it's all dreadfully bad. And that's not really the case. And I sympathize a lot, because this happens to me kind of a lot, and but I understand why. And so let me just kind of tell you guys what's happening and what I've grown to understand after many, many years. So for me, when I do magic, and what a lot of people teach when they teach magic, and what I still teach when I teach magic, if you've watched my other videos, is to kind of leave the door open. And you know, the less you control about how magic happens, the quicker and easier it is for you to get what it is that you want. Now, sometimes that means that the quickest and easiest way for the magic to happen is kind of awful. And so one example that I have for you that is like very, very real is that I really, 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 really wanted to get out of my corporate job. And I was very, very unspecific about how I wanted out, and also really stubborn about all the signs and opportunities that I had been given, because they didn't fit all the criteria I kind of forgot to mention that I had. And so my boss kind of freaked out on me, and everything went really, really badly. And then there were a few really, really hard years after that, but I ended up leaving my job. So, and now things are much more fabulous as a result, just like I wanted them to be, but that road ended up being a lot harder than it absolutely needed to be as a result. So, but like I said, I did get what I wanted. So that's kind of how that goes. So sometimes when you leave those variables undefined in your magic, or if you're being extra stubborn about things, the magic kind of has to do what it has to do, and so sometimes it's kind of awful. So if there are that's why, like, I just interrupted myself. I do that a lot. So a lot of times you'll see, like when you see published materials, especially, it'll say like, I will receive unexpected money in only positive ways. The only positive ways is a really important part of that, so that like you don't get hit by a train and then win a medical settlement or something, because you don't want to be hit by a train. You know, that's kind of a shitty way to get money, especially if you end up being suffering a permanent disability or injury as a result. So, you know, those kind of qualifications in your work is sometimes a really, really good idea. And so if you're trying to get something to work, you really, really want to mention if there's a very specific way you are not open to that happening, because that's important. And also, when you're doing magic workings, if you're like, okay, I want this thing to happen, but here's a list of 873 ways it can't happen, then maybe you really need to kind of think through what your requirements are and see how open you really are to the opportunity. If you are desiring something that is so specific that it could only really happen in one way, that's going to make it really, really hard for the magic to work its way into lining things up in order to make that happen. So it might help you out to be a little bit more flexible on that, or think things through a little bit more, or get to the heart of what you really, really want. Sometimes I really talk about being flexible about how you're asking for things to be delivered, because it allows the universe or your gods or whatever you believe in to think of things or opportunities that you're not aware of. So you're not dictating that it has to happen this way, because you aren't conscious of all the possibilities that are out there, and so you're allowing it to find the path of least resistance. And sometimes the downside to that is that the path sucks. Things get worse before they get better. And so a lot of times that's the case. And for me personally, when that has happened, it has always ended up being worth it. But in the process, I'm always like, really? Really? First I'm in this terrible situation and now it's worse? Why are we doing this? There had better be a happy ending at the end of this, because otherwise I'm gonna pitch a fit. And every time there has been, and it's worked out okay. And so I'm like, okay, we're cool. I owe you a honey cake. I'm sorry. But so if you're going through that, or if you've experienced that, hang on out there, because sometimes the path of least resistance is over the edge of a cliff, but the landing works out, okay? So I hope that helps you kind of understand, if you're doing any energy work or healing work or any kind of magic work, that sometimes getting where you're going gets a little rough, but the magic helps you get there. So again, this is Nathara at CrowSong Lodge, and if you've been enjoying these videos at all, I would love a little support with a thumbs up and a subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the commenty thing below. I will catch you guys later.